All right, please be seated. We're on the record in several tax sale matters concerning petitions, verified petitions for issuance of tax deeds in at least three different causes: 45 CO1 1207 MI 118, 45 CO1 1109 MI 115, 45 CO1 1008 MI 98. Due to the volume that we have here today, we always have a list. We have a master list of 62 pages. Hopefully you've all had an opportunity to look at that list and find where you are on the list. As we go through the list, if there are people here that are objecting to the tax sale and we're concerning your page, please come forward at that point in time. If for some reason nobody comes forward during the time that it gets called, but it becomes apparent later when we get to the self-represented litigants part of the call, then we'll set those objections for a pretrial conference, along with any other objection that has previously been filed. So if you realize later that you didn't get up when your case got called, don't worry about it. We'll deal with it at some point at the end of the day. So with that, we're going to be here probably most of the day. Let's get started. Attorney Hall. We've got 4 items at the bottom of page 1. All right, we'll show those granted. Anything else?
I have an objection on one for Mr. Zolding, but how do you want to handle it?
Which one's that? What page?
You do that now, Your Honor, when we find it for you. It's on, I think it's on... It looks like it's on 16, Your Honor. It's Conrad, Whitmore, and Blake versus Lake County Trust 4673, correct?
Correct. Key number is 1216-476-25-30.
Okay, I see it. It's like this. It's the 7th one down on page 16.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're going to set that for a pretrial conference on November 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m.
11/4/13, 10 a.m.
Yes.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. And any filings would go on the table. All right, very good. Thank you. Attorney Craig?
Yes, Judge. We're on several different pages, Judge.
All right.
I think we start on page 3.
I see that.
That's an objection, Your Honor.
Which is an objection. The one of
11/4/13 at 10 a.m.
And it goes on to page 20.
All right, I see the bottom ones here.
There are some petitions for deed, which I believe the notices are in order, that have been reviewed by the auditor, and then the SUCRM petitions, which are at the bottom of page 20 and on to the beginning of page 21, are failed petitions. The orders have been filed with you.
They're what petitions?
Failed petitions for 75%.
Any objection to that, Attorney Wiley? All right, so each of those, the last 4, well, let's start with the first item on page 20.
Hurdle?
Yes.
That is just a petition for deed.
No objection, Judge.
We'll show that granted. The last 4 items on page 20 then are...
Failed petitions for deed.
Okay, and you're asking for an ordering reimbursement subject to the 25% penalty?
Correct.
And there's no objection to that?
No objection, Judge.
All right, we'll show that that's granted as to 25% penalty. And that also
Applies to
applies to the first item on page 21.
Yes, Judge.
Have you filed those proposed orders?
I have, Judge.
Okay. Then the last item under for your...
Scenic Vistas is a petition for deed.
No objection, Judge.
All right, we'll show that granted.
And then we go on to page 32, which is an objection. At the bottom of 32, Judge.
I see it. Spackler,
Yes.
November 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m.
Megan, what page was that? I'm standing in for
Page 32,
32 is the
last item.
32. Okay, it's on there. I got it. Thank you.
It's at 11:04 at what time?
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Okay. Then I think the next page is 48, which is a self-represented objection. We are objecting to the petition for tax deed by the self-represented.
Which one? The Jack Mitchell,
Mitchell, yes.
Lupe McGee?
Lupe McGee.
What about the one below it? Is that yours too?
No, just the one with Lupe. And I don't know if Mr. Mitchell is here.
That's me, we're willing to give them 30 days to keep the property.
You want me to submit a stipulated order?
So there's, you're Mr. Mitchell?
Yes. No.
So you're offering extension of the redemption period, and you're accepting that?
I assume that my client will have to sign off on that, or I assume that it would be a very good solution.
Court will accept and approve the agreement then,
And then I will submit a proposed order for your review. I'll get that over to you.
and you'll submit that order within 14 days?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, any other items?
Page 55, at the bottom, those
Okay.
are petitions for deed.
Last four items on page 55, Attorney Wiley, any objection?
No objection, Judge.
We'll show those granted.
On page 60, it's a request for extension of time. We did provide notice to the property owner, Judge, of
Okay.
our request.
Yes.
Yes.
The extension date on that, Judge, for 120-day extension of redemption, that new expiration date is February 1, 2014.
And have you filed that order, or you will be?
I have it
Okay.
previously.
Okay.
And then I think we go on to page 62. And these are also extensions at the bottom of the first section. Willis and 2 Bickerstaff.
I see those.
The same redemption date of 2/1.
Okay.
And then, although it's not listed on here, Judge, I was recently retained to object to 3 parcels by Attorney Schuster. Attorney Schuster and I had an opportunity to talk. On the bottom of page 12, the last 3 entries for Attorney Schuster were sent to your bank
Okay.
with the objection. We could just set those for the same pretrial date and time.
11/4/13 at 10 a.m.
And then the only other thing that we had is an objection that we had filed to a petition that I talked to Gina, we couldn't find it necessarily on the list, we just want to make sure it doesn't get lost in the cracks when the petition is filed. So I don't know how you want me to handle that. We filed an objection.
It wasn't on the list?
It was not on the list. And Gina doesn't have you don't have a memory of her filing a petition, do you? So we
So
just
you don't
have
even know
that
if there's
petition
a-
kind of hanging out there, and it's kind of...
You believe there has been a petition
We're
filed?
not sure, it's with Hawkins Family Partnership, we're not sure, we just want to preserve the rights. So I'm not sure if you're hearing it today, we do have the...
Mr. Lewis represents him. He said he filed it to me on the phone, so, but, and maybe on our next hearing date, I'm not sure, but it's a huge issue with the Hawkins family issue.
getting involved.
Set it for status.
Should we just set it for status? I can submit an order to return, so I just set it for the same day as the other one? And I think that's all I have. Do you want me to fill in the minute sheets that I created and leave those with you?
That would be great.
As
Yes.
good as we talked about.
That would be fantastic, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Attorney Lambert?
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
20, Judge.
All right, middle of the page. 5 items.
Yes, Your Honor, all for petitions for tax deeds.
No objection to these, Judge. However, the third item down has a wrong key number.
Which one's that?
The third item down is 4517, should be -26 instead of -16.
Okay.
Otherwise, okay for these on those, Judge.
What about the one regarding the railroad? I've got a,
I don't have any note on that, Judge.
No, that was the...
how do we know that? Was there an objection? Oh.
Time to see.
Okay.
You have the right to know. You just have wrong.
Had it wrong in the back.
All this here. Just like,
I have nothing on the railroad, Judge.
Well, no, apparently in that particular file, there wasn't an objection by the railroad, but there was a letter sent to us by someone saying, we're the neighbor, we got the notice, you didn't send it to the right place. So, I mean, it's not an objection by the railroad, but it's someone saying you...
We've reviewed the notices and we feel they're...
Okay, we'll show those granted.
So the code was the person filed that notice on the tax records. The railroad was also listed at that address.
Okay.
Which
Right.
is not correct. So if I may approach, I do have proposed orders along with the minute sheets.
Yes, you may, and just put those on the table. Attorney Lambert, any for the other items today?
This was 5 items, Your Honor. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Attorney Singer? Good morning.
3 petitions for issues of tax deeds on page 30.
Okay, I see those, the top 3. Attorney Wiley?
No objection, Judge.
We'll show those granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Have you tendered your orders? Okay, all right, thank you. Attorney Richards?
Page 34, Judge.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Last 4 items. Well, let's go with the first one. I see there's an objection.
Can you set that for status on the 4th?
November 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m. And then the last, well, I see the next one down is redeemed.
That's correct, Your Honor. Next one, no objection to deed, Judge.
We'll show that granted, and the last one's been redeemed.
Yes, that's correct, Judge. We're on to page 35.
Right,
The first one is redeemed.
okay. Then there's several other going down.
The remainder, no objection to deed, Judge, on any of those.
All right, we'll show those granted. Have you tendered your orders?
Yes, sir.
And then we have one on 36 as well. And
Oh, right, I'm sorry.
That's also an objection, Judge.
Where is that?
Middle of the page.
What's it listed under?
Kathy Stark, it's U.S.
Oh, Starks, okay.
Starks, Panjim, Driscoll. So that needs that.
November 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m.
thank you.
You're welcome. Attorney Golden?
Your Honor.
Starting on page 12?
Yes, Your Honor. We have Attorney Decker should be here on the first one. Where you go? Attorney Adam Decker.
Page 12, it's an objection, Judge.
All right, we'll show that one set for status pretrial, November 4th at 10 a.m.
Okay, Your Honor, there's been a previous order setting it for status on October 16th. Do you want to vacate that?
No, that's if we've already got it set then.
10/16.
How did that get set on the 6th?
All I know is I received something in the mail that said it was set on the 16th. Then I got something else in the mail that said it was set for today, so.
Okay.
You want to just do it on the 4th to eliminate confusion, or
Yeah.
14th to eliminate confusion? 11/4
Yeah,
at
that's fine, 11/4 at 10:30.
10:30.
I'm sorry, 10.
10.
Yeah.
And then we have
Next one down is an objection.
Indiana Laminated Wall, Attorney Cox is here. We'll just set that for status on the same day. That's at 60 days out.
60 days out.
Oh, that's at 60 days from today, right?
What is, the November, no, it's 30 days.
30 days. We need more.
There are bankruptcy-related issues regarding the sale.
Okay. So you don't want that date, you want a
We
different
go
date?
another 30 days at least into December.
Use that December 5th date, Your Honor.
December 5th at 11. Does that work?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. All right, moving on to page 13. Looks like towards the middle of the page, there's one that was redeemed.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Show that redeemed. All those items above it.
The remainder are no objection on that page, Your Honor.
All right, we'll show the remainder granted.
Okay.
Moving to page 14.
No objection, Judge. Towards the bottom third, Your Honor, there is one that the owner's name is incorrectly listed. It's under a John Dunnett, second to the last John Dunnett purchaser. The owner is not Edward Bursick. It should be James and Debbie Pocock, P-O-C-O-C-K.
And
Which one's that? Because there is a James and Debbie Pocock.
It's one right above it, Your Honor.
That should be the same as,
They should both be James and Debbie Pocock.
okay.
They're consecutive numbers, and I can represent to the court that the notices did go out to the correct party, and the other paperwork in the matter does show the correct party.
All righty. We'll show those granted. Page 15,
No objection to any on page 15, Your Honor.
those are granted. Page 16, other than the item concerning Lake County Trust 4673 that we already set for status.
There's an objection and 2 redemptions on that page, it
All
looks
right.
like.
Let's start with the, go from the top. What's the first?
It's 4th on my list. It's Conrad Whitmore and Blake versus Daniel P. and Cheryl A. Mills. 4507, 35, 331, 006.
All right. What's,
Attorney Blacklaw is here objecting on that.
good morning. We'll set that for status November 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m.
60 days involving a business and split lots. I think we're in negotiation now.
Attorney Golden?
That's fine, Your Honor.
December 5th, 2013 at 11. You're welcome.
Your Honor, the very next item.
Yes.
LaSalle Wentworth Holdings, that's a sale, that's a canceled sale.
Canceled.
Thank you. I'm not aware of the reason for cancellation, Your Honor. Can we just set that for status on 11/4, in case my client has any issue with the cancellation?
Sure. At 10 a.m.
The next three items, Judge, prior to the objection, those are no objection, those are for deeds.
We'll show those granted.
I heard that. The remainder after the objection, Your Honor, the next. The first one, no objection to deed. The second one is redeemed. United Nations Alliance versus Esperanza Ramirez.
Redeemed.
Redeemed.
Okay.
The next five, no objection to deed, Judge.
Is it townhomes at Prairie View redeemed or not?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Which one?
The next five are no objection to
Granted.
deed.
Okay.
Townhomes at Prairie View was redeemed, Judge. United Nations versus Prairie View. The remainder of...
All right, hold on a second. Which ones? Oh, you said five.
I meant four, Judge.
All right, after Ramirez, we've got Mendez, LaFave, and Taylor. Those are granted?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Then the next one down is the Prairie View,
Is redeemed.
redeemed. Then Miller Beach Investments.
The remainder of page 16, no objection, Judge.
Your Honor,
Show those granted. The last one, there's an objection, at least on my list.
which one, Your Honor?
Tom White versus Artemio Carino.
I see that. Status on that on...
November 4th at 10 a.m.
And we need to back up a minute, Your Honor. The gentleman just stepped up and advised me he has an objection.
Okay.
It looks like it's on the POCAC that we just...
Page 14, Judge.
All right, sir, who are you?
James Pocock.
Okay.
And there's two parcels, Your Honor.
We'll show that James Pocock appeared on both. Are you lodging an oral objection, sir?
I don't understand anything.
Okay.
I'll take that as an objection.
Yeah, I'm going to treat that as an objection. 11-4, sir, you'll need to come back November 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m.
Okay.
You also would probably be beneficial if you speak with Attorney Golding between now and then, so he can ascertain the nature of your objection and see if there's a resolution that can be reached.
Okay.
May the record reflect, Your Honor, he has my paperwork here, and it has my phone number on it. He just served him copies of everything by regular mail, and it looks like he also has the 4.6 here, so it all has my phone number on it, so he can...
I would suggest that you contact Attorney Golding to discuss the issues ahead of time.
Okay.
All right?
All right, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, looks like we have another objector, Your Honor.
Okay.
I have to find out. This is 247 Taft. This would be under Young Reeves, I think. Let me find that for you real fast. Let me just look at the parcel. Forgive me a minute, Your Honor. Let me just find the parcel number here. I think it's on page 13.
Ebony Young?
Ebony Young.
It's, I think it's Cleopatra Lewis Young Reeves.
Okay.
4508 205 205 009 00004. Cleopatra Lewis Young Reeves versus Sylvester Hobson. Are you Mr.
Sir, are you Mr. Hobson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you objecting to the issuance of the tax deed?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And we'll set the same status date on that then?
Yes.
11/4/13 at 10 a.m. You need to come back to court then, sir, on November 4th, 2013, and the judge will hear you at that time.
November 4th, 10 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. And again, I would suggest that you contact Attorney Golding in advance of that date.
Okay.
And my phone number's on all of you. I think we have another one, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes, I'm doing a very good job of serving notice.
Apparently so. And maybe the only one.
Now, this is the Tom White one, Artemio Ferrero versus Tom White. We've already noted that on page 17, I think. Yeah, it's parcel 450707179001000023.
Okay, that's the last one on page 16.
And that sort is going to be set for status hearing before this judge on November 4th at 10 o'clock a.m., so you need to come to court on that day. And you have my phone number on this paperwork if you wish to call me. My phone number is shown down there.
You're welcome.
I think we have another one.
Yes?
Okay, this is Jody Riley is the petitioner. Let me just find it for you.
Page 13. Are you, what's your name, ma'am?
Yolanda Eddy.
Yolanda Eddy. Okay, it's in the middle of page 13.
Okay.
November 4th, and you'll be back there. 10 a.m.
Yolanda Eddy appears, we'll set that for status November 4 at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And again, contact Attorney Golding in advance of that date, so he knows and you know what the status is going to be at the November 4th hearing date, so that can be reported to me and we can figure out where we go with that matter. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else?
Sorry, ma'am. Okay, this is not me. This is Attorney Robert Tweedle.
Not yet.
We call him different Robert. Yeah. All
right, back to page 17.
No objection to the rest of page 17, John.
So says you.
So says I.
So does granted. Attorney Golding? I see. Bill, through page 58.
I think we're on 58 now. That's an extension. Respondent is Meek Missionary Baptist Church. Anybody here from Meek Missionary Baptist Church? Has to move for the extension of time to give notice and
extend redemption period to February 1st.
February 1st, Judge. No objection. We'll have no objection to initial extensions only, Judge, from here on. The auditors will reject any additional extensions.
Okay.
I think the form order I submitted says 120 days from today's date, Your Honor.
Well, it'll be February 1 of 24.
Okay. For redemption?
Yep. Expiration of redemption.
Changing the rules, huh?
No.
Page 61.
Page 61. Okay.
Ariana Nash is a petitioner for extension of redemption period.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Okay, that'll be granted.
And then it looks like we have an add-on on page 60.
Page 62, third from the bottom.
Oh, is it 62 on yours?
Yeah.
Okay, it's...
United Nations Alliance.
Yeah, and the respondent is Flaherty Custom Builders, 4508-25-178-002-000-018.
What's that for?
No, I think it's a petition for deed.
No objection, Judge.
We'll show that granted. Anything else?
I guess that's it, Judge.
All right, I don't know if you want to stick around for a while and see if
Yeah, I don't like finding out about this stuff several weeks later after my clients filed for their claim and finds out they can't get it.
Right, okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Attorney Halpin? Good morning. Page 29. Last item.
Correct, Judge, she needs the 120 continuance for new redemption date of February 1.
Extend redemption to 2/1/14. You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Attorney Burkett, or is it Attorney Peterson? Okay.
Attorney Burkett here for Jonathan Peterson's office.
Page 30 and 31, Judge.
Last 5 items on page 30.
Correct, no objection to deed on those, Your Honor.
Show those granted.
Page 31, first item is redeemed, Judge, the
I see that.
partnership. Next, no objection to deed.
The next two on page 31, actually, Your Honor, we need to continue that until January 10th of 2014. The U.S. government has a potential interest and they need a 60-day response period.
The Lewis Guerra, the those first 2 items underneath the one that was redeemed?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, and we'll show those continued to January 10th, 2014 at 9:30.
Okay.
All right?
Do you know which ones you're talking about? There's 2 Lewis Guerras. They're all Lewis Guerra. Which 2? Which 2? This one?
Northwest Indiana NWI Land Holdings
Northwest Indiana Holdings.
Oh.
First Indiana.
and First Midwest Bank.
Northwest Indiana and First Midwest Bank.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
All right, then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items before the next one that's marked redeemed.
Correct, Your Honor. No objection to deed on those.
We'll show those granted. The next 2 are marked as redeemed. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And then there's 2 more.
No objection to deed on those either, Your Honor.
We'll show those granted. Have you tendered your orders on
I've got proposed orders. Would you like?
In the back.
all of them, even the ones that, did you do anything on the ones that are continued?
No, we did not on the ones that
Did you bring minutes for those, or
What's that?
did you bring proposed minutes?
Yes.
It looks like she does, Your Honor.
Okay, then we'll mark that date on the minutes.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Mitchell Heppenheimer?
Right, Your Honor.
Good morning.
54 and 55, Judge.
10 petitions for deed.
No objection, Judge.
Okay, page 54, there's 2 items.
Correct.
Show those granted. Carrying on to page 55, there's 2, 4, 6, 8 matters.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted.
Form of orders.
In the back.
Do you have them? Yes. Up here. You're welcome. Attorney Schuster?
Page 11 and 12, Judge. Christine Kerr, is it? Yes. Call her name. Christine Kerr. Judge, first item for Mr. Schuster on page 11 is no objection to deed.
Show that granted.
Second
Next
one.
item is redeemed.
Correct, Your Honor. This third item on the bottom of page 11, there's an objector. Are you Ms. Kerr?
Ma'am, who are you?
Christine Kirk, property owner.
We're going to set that for a status hearing, November 4th, 2013 at 10 a.m.
Is there any way we could make
You'll have to talk to him, okay? There's his card right here, and there's your next hearing date right there. Okay? Put it down. We'll just leave it.
All right, first four items, we'll need to page 12.
Correct, Your Honor, no objection to deed.
And then as I see the fifth one is, at least on my list, is that redeemed?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay. And then the next 2, 4, 6 items,
No objection to deed, Judge.
we'll show those granted.
And then the last 3 were the objections.
Right, we've got those, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Attorney Bratz?
Yes, Your Honor.
Starting on page 3, Judge.
All right, page 3, starting with Luana Lewis, there's 4. Let's deal with the objection. Looks like there's a line forming. Let's go ahead and deal with those first. Sir, what's your name?
Robert Barrett.
Say it again.
Robert Barrett.
Barretts.
Who's the buyer? Who's the buyer? Wish. Buyer was in Wish LLC, Judge. Starting on page 7.
Right. All right, page 8, second item. Barrix?
Yes.
Okay, we'll show Robert Barrix appears. Are you objecting to the tax deed?
Actually, I'm just asking for an extension of redemption of possibly 120 days.
Okay, so we'll show that as an objection. You'll need to talk to Mr. Bratz about that. You can talk to him after today's hearing.
Could we set it for the November 4th date?
Yeah, I'm going to set it for November 4th at 11.
Just wait. I got to talk to you.
All right, sir, what's your name?
Leslie Frazier.
Leslie Frazier.
Oh, it's already marked as an objection on the call, Judge.
Hey.
What page?
What page?
She has it on page 8, but hers is different. It's another in Wish, Judge. Oh, you know what? It's on page 3, Judge. It's in the middle of the page. It was blocked off as an objection already.
Oh, I see it. Yeah. All right, we'll set that for status November 4th at 11. November 4th at 11.
Because we have another objection, Attorney Cox, page 10, near the bottom, it's marked as an objection, Richard Gearhart, 524 LLC.
Right.
There's a bankruptcy filed in that. Do you want to do that status date, or revisit it, or we want to do the December date? We can do a December date.
The one I gave before? December 5th at 11?
Yes. And there was, I believe, Connie Gearhart, who was a non-filing spouse, also filed a handwritten objection within the period. But, so if you want to take it off the list and make sure that it doesn't go through. I'm not sure, maybe you didn't know. Okay.
Cox. And Attorney Cox, who are you appearing for?
Richard Gearhart.
Okay.
And I have not yet gotten the appearance, and we'll get it sent in.
12-5.
All right. Attorney Emerson, you objecting?
Objecting for Hilton Cruz on page 5, Your Honor.
Okay.
We can set it at November 4th.
Okay, unexpected returns, Nilda Cruz.
Yes.
11 o'clock that day, Judge?
Yes, November 4th, 2013 at 11. You're welcome. Sir, what's your name?
Michael Shea.
Say it again?
Michael Shea.
Yeah, we're not there yet. Not there. That's for Attorney Polk. I'm standing in for him. Anyone else objecting? Come forward, ma'am.
Hazel Range.
Hazel Range, I see you have my notice, my 4.5 notice, is that correct? Okay. My client is Inwish. Hazel Range. Inwish.
Starting on page 7, Judge, in wishes. You don't see it under the wish. Go back to the message.
Are there any other names on the property, ma'am?
No.
Okay.
She's showing a redemption, that she paid for redemption, Judge, on August 23rd.
It may not even be on the list, and it may have just been sent out, but we didn't know it was getting.
It's not on the call, that's what I can see.
So I think
She's already been redeemed, so it should be fine.
You're okay?
Morning, Your Honor.
Yes.
Robert Longcar appearing on behalf of 219 Kenwood Holdings, LLC. I believe it's on page 3.
Okay.
We did file an objection.
I see that. November 4th, 2013 at 11.
Thank you, Judge. Counsel doesn't have any objection. I would request the December date.
Judge, we do have an objection. I anticipate we'll be filing for a receiver. It's a big apartment building and a lot of maintenance, a lot of things have to be addressed. So I anticipate I'll probably be filing for an expedited hearing and petition for a receiver.
All right, well, we'll deal with it on the 4th.
November 4th, it is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Okay.
Ma'am, what's your name?
Yes, that's
Charlotte
right.
Summers.
Say it again?
Charlotte Summers.
Charlotte Summers?
Charlotte Summers.
I saw that.
Inwish.
Okay, Charletta? Charletta. There's two items in the middle of the page, well, towards the bottom of page 9. Ma'am, are you objecting to the issuance of the deed?
Yes.
November 4th at 11 for status.
Yeah, you can call me. Come forward.
Sir, what's your name?
Robert Nazani.
Okay.
Asking for an extension. 90 days.
Okay, my client is Cloak, Robert Mazzani.
Folks down on the bottom of, it's the last one on page 6, looks like, Your Honor. Robert Mazzani.
I see it. Mr. Mazzani, are you objecting to the issuance of the deed?
Yes, I'd like to have an extension of 90 days, please.
Okay, well, we're not dealing with the merits of any of the requests today. You can discuss that with Attorney Botts and perhaps reach a resolution before the status date, but as you can see, we've got a courtroom full of people, so all we're doing with the objections today is simply setting them for a status hearing, giving the people an opportunity, 30 days to try and work something out, and if not, you'll come in 30 days, and we'll discuss how much court time is going to be necessary to hear the case on the merits. So we'll set it for status November 4th, 2013 at 11.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Sir, what's your name?
Robert Harper.
Robert Harper?
My client is Who's my client? It's not? Where's the paperwork I sent you? Get it home? That's a different man? No, it's not. I don't. He's got me as. Which one of my clients was? That's you.
That's your name.
Sir, is there another name it could be under? Any other property owners' names?
John Allen.
John what?
Allen.
Do you have a key number? If you have a key number, you can give it to Karen and she can...
Just do the second four, 834-127. 834-127.
Okay.
What is it?
Page 9. 0834-127.
-19.
19.
-4.
There's marked objection and redemption on it.
Page what?
9.
Okay.
8 down.
City equities?
Yes.
Has it been redeemed?
I don't know.
Okay, so there's an objection. It's Robert Harper?
Yes.
Okay, Robert Harper appears. And we're going to set it for status November 4th, 2013 at 11. Ma'am? What's your name?
My name is Norma Maciel.
Say it one more time.
Norma Maciel.
Okay.
It's for Rito Maciel.
Unexpected returns.
Yeah, there's an objection. It's in page 5, middle of the page.
Got it.
Rita? No, I'm sorry, what did you say your name was again? Norma.
Yes.
Okay. November 4th, 2013 at 11 for status.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Jim.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Anybody else? Sir, come forward.
Yeah, I'm David Bronson. Are you objecting?
What's your name, sir?
I'm here for my mom, Annie Lee Williams.
Annie Williams?
Yes, sir.
It's Inwish. It shows, on my notice, it shows Arizona Pacific as the owner. Are you objecting, or you just want to, you're renting, or what are you, what's?
You're renting. Yeah, they're renting.
Page 8, George.
8 down.
Judge, they're renters. I don't know. I I would object to them standing. I mean, my clients will probably work with them to keep them in there if they want to keep renting. It's just...
Are you objecting to the deed itself, or are you just trying to figure out what's going on with the property?
Just trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, you have no ownership interest in the property?
Yes. Yes.
You're buying by contract?
No. She's renting it now. But if it was possible, she would make the purchase of it, or she would like to know if she can remain there and stop paying rent to the Arizona Pacific. She doesn't want to move in it.
Yeah. Judge, I think my client's more than willing to work out some arrangements with them to keep...
You're not claiming you own the property, are you?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Good. You can
Give them a card.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. You don't have to move. Sit tight. Thank you.
They'll be glad to take your rent once you get the deed.
I'm sure my client will gladly accept it. Come forward if you have an objection.
At acceptable terms.
It's actually my mom's property.
What's your name, ma'am?
My name is Connie Catania.
Okay.
We would never received any notification that this was going to
Hiram Sprouse.
Well, he's...
Which one is it?
My mom.
Vanya Sprouse. 524.
Hiram Sprouse, page 10, Judge.
Okay.
Just after the halfway point. 524 versus Hiram Sprouse Jr.
Oh, okay, I see it. All right, and again, what's your name, ma'am?
Connie Catania.
Connie? Spell your last name.
Catania. 708.
Catania.
45 8078.
And you're objecting to the issuance of the deed?
Yes.
November 4th, 2013, at 11 a.m. for status.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sir, come on forward. What's your name?
Leroy Harris.
Leroy Harris?
Judge, he too has notice like in Mr. Golding's case. Notice of right of redemption from tax sale. Let's see, it's my client is
Those notices are hard to decipher.
new glasses. Tough Shot Investments.
Page 4, Top Shop Investments. What's the name?
The name is Leroy Harris.
Yeah. Are you here for Betty?
Betty Harris, Leroy Harris.
She's here as well, Judge.
All right, Betty Harris and Leroy Harris appear.
What page is that, Judge? Is that
Page 4. It's page 4, about in the middle down.
Okay, I see.
Are you objecting to the issuance of the deed?
Yes.
Okay. November 4th at 11 a.m.
Okay.
for status. Anybody else? All right, then going to page 3, we've got 4 items before we have one that's showed as redeemed.
Correct, no objection to those 4, Judge.
Show those granted. Next one is in fact, is that redeemed?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay.
Next 4, no objection, Judge.
Next 4 items on page 3 are granted. There's 9 items at the top of page 4.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. We have the Harris one, what's set for status, and then the remainder of the items on page 4.
All but the last item, Judge. The last item I believe is redeemed.
I see that.
Charlie.
Show that redeemed, and we'll show the rest granted. on page 4 of the master list. There's 11 items at the top of page 5.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. There's an objection by Maceo, and then there's unexpected returns, Frank Coleman.
No objection, Judge.
Show that granted. After the objection of Cruz,
No objection to the remainder, well, I'm sorry.
there's one redeemed.
Correct, Your Honor.
Anissa Flippins, Calvin Taylor.
Anissa Flippins, Calvin Taylor.
That's right.
The remainder of on page 5, Judge, no objection.
We'll show those granted. Page 6, we have an objection at the bottom. Other than that, which has been set for status, any objection to the rest of the items on page 6?
No objection, Judge.
We'll show those granted. Page 7,
No objections, Judge.
show all of page 7 granted. Page 8, top item, in wish Willie Watson.
No objection, Judge.
Show that granted. Next one with Mr. Barracks is an objection. We've got 3 before redemption.
Right, no objection.
Those are
Judge.
granted. The next one with James Barrow is redeemed.
Correct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5 items. Any objection to those?
No objection, Judge.
So those granted. The next one was regarding LakeCo Hobson. Is that redeemed?
The one above that, Judge, Rose Jameson is the one that's redeemed, I believe. You have it right, Your Honor. LaKeela is the redeemed.
What was that?
LaKeela Hobson is...
No, what'd you say before that? What'd you say before that?
I thought it was Rose Jameson was...
No, the part where you said I was right. Just want to hear that again.
I'd like it read back for the record, Your Honor.
Well, we can do that. It is recorded. All right, we'll show that redeemed. Remainder of items on page 8.
The second from the bottom was also redeemed.
Oh, yeah, I see that. You're right.
The remainder on page 8, no objection.
We'll show those granted. Page 9, top of page 9, all those before the Harper objection.
No objection, Judge, those first 7.
Show those granted. There's 4 after the Harper objection.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. And then the remainder of the page after the Summers objections.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted.
Judge, on page 10, 2/3 of the way down, 524 Diana Weiss, Pittsburgh. That's one where there was insufficient notice and there's going to be a 25% penalty imposed and no deed will issue.
Judge, can we go back to page 9, middle of the page?
Yes.
It's in Wish versus Jesse Meredith.
Yeah.
It's redeemed.
We'll show that redeemed. Thank you. All right, page 10, the first 2, 4, 6, 8 items.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. All right, and then with regard to Diana Weiss Pitchford.
That's insufficient notice, 25% penalty.
Any objection to that?
No objection, Judge. And also on that one, Judge, I believe you have the wrong key number. The middle number is 328 rather than 318.
Which one are you talking about?
The same one, the 25% reduction.
Oh, okay.
Judge, that was corrected on the final.
Yeah, mine's corrected.
So we're good on the final.
Next 2 items.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. Then we have the Catania objection, and there's 4 items after that.
3 items after both of those objections.
Well,
there's no deed.
There's 4 on mine.
There's an objection by Attorney Cox on the gear hurt.
No, but
there's 4 items between the Catania objection and the Cox objection. Bright, Mons, Granger, and Stony Run.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, no, I have 2 objections by Connie Catania.
There's only one parcel. It got listed twice.
Oh, okay.
On the final draft, it's correct.
All right. No objection to
So show those granted.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Richard Gearhart.
Right, objection.
And then the remaining 3 items on page 10?
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. Page 11?
No objection to any on page 11, Your Honor.
We'll show those granted.
Page
59. The last item in that, in Attorney Brotz's part of the page, I see is redeemed.
That's correct, Your Honor.
We'll show that redeemed.
No objection to the remainder, Judge.
Okay, show those granted.
And those are for extensions, Judge, on page 59.
Okay, for extension to when?
And we're using what date, Judge? February
1st, 2014.
February 1, 2014. Thank you.
Page 62. Top Shot Investments, Mark Anthony Davis, and then Inwish LLC, Raymond Sedera. What are those for?
Those are just, they didn't make the call and they were picked up, so.
Right, but what are they for extension? For deed. Okay.
No objection, Judge.
We'll show those granted. Anything else?
No, Your Honor. I'm standing in for Attorney Jeffrey Polk.
Okay.
If I may interrupt this process, shareholder,
Sure.
I want to back up a step to 12. I had an objective that appeared as I was walking out the door. I thought better to take care of it today.
No problem. What page?
Page 12. It's John Ensign, I think, here. It's on 12. Yeah, it looks like
Third item down. Ma'am, what's your name?
Skyanne Ensign.
How do you spell your first name?
Skyanne.
Attorney Schuster, did you have any other objections earlier?
I did. They were set for 11/4 10 a.m.
At 10, okay.
Yes, thank you very much for that.
November 4th at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Attorney Polk starts on page 31, Judge.
Okay. All right, we got the very first one is Carl Spackler, LLC, Joseph Mirko. There's an objection to that.
What I show, Your Honor.
11/4 at 11. 11/4/13 and 11. Last 4 items on page 31.
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. Page 32.
All deeds except the last item, Judge, we set for pre-trial conference earlier on an objection.
Okay, I see that at least there's one in the middle of page Karen Wilson. At least my list notes that as a bankruptcy. Anybody? Kevin Schmidt filed, Attorney Kevin Schmidt filed a notice of bankruptcy.
Judge, that's correct. That's what my notes from Mr. Polk indicate, that there was a bankruptcy filed. We'd asked the court to stay it.
We'll let her stay on that.
Right here.
All right, so all the items above that, any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. Sir, come on forward. What's your name?
Michael Shea, on page 34.
Okay. Let's finish page 32 real quick then. The items between the objection and the bankruptcy, any objection to those?
No, Your Honor.
Show those granted. Michael Shea, I see that. That's page 34, the third item down. It is noted as an objection. November 4th, 2013 at 11. Page 33, the top item, Howard and Nancy Jameson, I show is redeemed. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor. Yes. Yep.
Next 5 items regarding Carl Spackler, LLC. Any objection to those?
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. The next item, I show an objection, Carl Spackler, Jeanette Jania, Jeanette Jania, November 4th, 2013 at 11.
Judge, where were you on that one, page 33? 33, okay. Jeanette Jania, okay.
Objection.
Thank you.
Remainder of page 33, any objections?
No objection, Judge.
Show those granted. Page 34, top two items before Mr. Shea's objection.
No objection to those deeds, Judge.
Show those granted. Remainder of items on page 34 with regard to Attorney Polk.
No objection, Judge.
We'll show those granted.
I believe that's it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Attorney Angela Jones.
Starting on page 22, Judge.
Good morning.
Good morning.
First item is redeemed, Your Honor.
Show that redeemed.
Next two, no objection, Judge.
Show those granted. Have you tendered orders on those?
Your Honor, I have a three,
Oh, it's an extension. Second item, apparently, Judge, on page 22 is an extension.
Milan Denny.
No. Michael Phillips versus...
Oh, Michael Phillips. Extend redemption period to 2/1/14. 22.
Okay, I'll go through, Your Honor. Top of page one.
Yes? Was that accepted?
No objection,
Yeah.
Judge.
Sorry, Your Honor.
And then the last item is granted.
Correct.
D.
Correct. Top of page one, and that should be order for issuance of tax deed, Kenneth Donner.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
Page 23.
Yeah, Kenneth Donner, Elma Davis.
Yes. Okay.
What about that?
No objection, Judge.
To deed?
To deed.
Okay.
The next item is going from Frank Hill, ending in short number 4, going through RSK Enterprises, ending in short cause 4 versus William Davis, to the extension for redemption.
So the four items regarding Frank Hill and the first RSK Enterprises?
Yes.
Any objection?
Extension? No, Your Honor.
Extend redemption to 2/1/14. Okay, the next one is RSK Summit Garage, or
No, I think she's saying all the RSKs are...
all of the RSKs.
Yeah.
My protocol would be different, because I stopped at William Davis. Yeah, all the RSKs are extensions.
All right.
Then Beverly Jackson.
Then
Jeffrey Tucker. Yep. Yeah. Judge, the next three items, Jackson, Tucker, and Washington Street, no objection to deed.
Okay, we'll show those granted.
That next item is, we have as a redeemed Avery Ursery.
I do too. Redeemed.
The remainder on that page, Judge, no objection to deed.
Even the RSK Enterprises?
Yes.
Show those granted.
The remainder of page 24, Judge, no objection to deed on Ms. Jones, on hers.
We'll show those granted.
Your Honor, just one clerical error, should be RSK instead of RSL for the last two.
The last item, so it should be RSK Enterprises.
Right. Page 55.
That's,
Resident Sturdivant, Carlos Davis.
No objection to deeds, Judge.
Show those granted. Page 60.
extension for redemption.
Georgia McCullough.
We're asking for an extension for redemption for that one.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Extend redemption period to 2/1/14. Is that it?
That's it, Your Honor.
For myself, I'm covering for about 3 other attorneys, the next 3.
Okay.
Okay?
Attorney Kenny Jones?
Yes.
All right. Page 27.
Starting on page 24, Judge.
24.
Okay.
Someone move it.
Top 2 items are redeemed?
That's correct, Your Honor.
The next 4 items are extension for redemptions.
Well, there's another one redeemed, Dorothy and Michael Johnson. Is that for both of them or just the one?
Just one was redeemed, just the second, Dorothy and Michael Johnson was
Okay.
redeemed.
So the three above that, those are for extension or redemption period?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
So those extend redemption to 2/1/14? Last four items?
No objection, Judge. There is a typo, the second from the bottom. The correct key number, there's a duplicate if you look at the key number above it.
Yes.
It's the same. The second one from the bottom, the correct key number should be 08-156-155.000-004.
Okay.
No objection to those last four deeds, Judge.
For deed?
Correct, Your Honor.
I'm sure those granted. Page 25.
I've got no objection to deed, or I should
The last one's redeemed?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. What are all of those?
Yes, there are a few extensions. The Delta Walker versus LIC Construction, extension for redemption.
Okay. Any objection?
No objection, Judge.
Christopher Carter, both of those, versus Doug and Christopher Carter versus Washburn, extension for redemption.
No objection, Judge.
Robert Cottrell, both of his versus First Federal, extension for redemption.
Show those extended.
The First Willie Hall versus Yolanda Kelly, extension for redemption. And the remainder are deeds.
That's it? The only one Willie Hall, Rwanda?
Only First Willie Hall, yes.
No objection to deed on the remainder, Your Honor.
Show the remainder on page 25, granted. Page 26.
The first three are. The top item, Judge, no objection to deed. Next two.
Granted.
No objection to extension on the next two.
Corey Hopkins.
Correct, Your Honor.
Extend redemption to 2/1/14.
Next item.
Next one's redeemed.
The next one is redeemed, that's correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
Canada Young is all the way down to Canada Young, Teresa Canada Young as buyer. Those are all extensions, Judge.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So all the way down to the last one on Darnathia Crossley?
Yes, Your Honor.
All of those are extended redemption period?
I'm deferring to Ms. Jones here.
I'm sorry, let me go further. From Canada Young all the way down through Mary Hampton, our extension for redemptions.
No objection.
2/1/14, and then, okay, and then underground investments 2 times 2, and then all of Mary Hampton's?
Yes.
Extend redemption, which according to my list now leaves us with only one more on page 26 to deal with.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Before D.
No.
That's redeemed. Charles Banks?
Charles Banks.
What about it?
I have no objection to deed, Judge.
Okay, we'll show that granted. Charles Banks?
Page 27.
What's your name, sir?
William Banks.
Charles Banks.
William Banks?
Yes, sir.
Wrong Mr. Banks, Judge.
Oh, well.
We've got Charles Banks as the buyer on the next.
Why do I see that?
Yeah. Sir?
Yeah.
Do you know who the buyer was?
The buyer is Charles Banks.
Oh, it is, and you're William Banks.
I'm William Banks.
Who's on first? All right, any other names to name the, Laverne Dillon?
Yeah, that's my sister.
Okay, so, all right, William Banks appears, you're lodging an objection on Those three properties?
That's what I understand, Judge. Oh, and also the last one on page 26 is also a Charles Banks.
Yeah.
So all four of them.
And the Vernon Banks, okay.
Say it again?
The Vernon Banks, I take.
Because we have three listed with the Vernon Banks.
Yes, she's the executive of the state, my mother and father. And my brother.
He's objecting to all four.
And all the properties supposed to be in that state.
Oh, Milton, well, they're all.
Charles Banks. This is about 29, but they don't have about.
All right, November 4th,
Yes, sir.
2013 at 11.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Charles Banks, Milton Weatherall. You're not on the Weatherall one, are you?
No, Charles Banks.
Yeah, all right.
Remainder on page 27, Judge, no objection to deed.
Okay, we'll show those granted.
Your Honor, if we can go to page 54, they have two of her clients listed under the wrong attorney name.
Which ones?
Berlin Hall and Paris Harris.
Okay. Those are Attorney Tabasco?
And they're Kenya Jones.
Those should be Kenya Jones?
Yes, and those were for deed.
No objection to deed, Judge.
And then
Verna Hall?
Berlin Hall and Paris Harris.
Yeah. Show those granted.
Then to page 59, Judge.
page 59 are all extensions.
Yes. No objection to extension, Judge, on those.
All of those items are extended redemption period?
On page 59, going on to page 60, Judge.
Yes.
Okay. And the top two on page 60.
Then she's also listed on the ad on page 62, Judge.
Okay, Natasha Jones.
Yeah, Natasha Jones. Got no objection to deed on that one, Judge.
Show that granted. All right, and then are you here for Attorney Shannon?
Yes, before her, on Marcus Hurt, it's a pro se person. She's going to enter her appearance and is requesting an extension of redemption time. It's not on the attorney list.
What page?
Couldn't find it. Marcus Hurt is the buyer. She's going to be entering on he's already filed a petition for extension for a son. She's going to be entering. I couldn't find it.
Well, he's already got the extension.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right, moving on to Attorney Lewis Shannon.
Page 21.
The first one, we're requesting a continuance, Your Honor.
Homer Brooks, that one?
Yes, we're asking for extensions for everyone, Your Honor.
21 and page 22, all of hers, Ms. Shannon's are all extensions. Judge.
Okay.
No objection to this first extension. Any other extensions will be objected to.
All right. Anything else for Attorney Shannon? All right.
For her.
And then Attorney Williams, so you've...
Page 29. He's requesting a continuance.
Your Honor, item number 1 was redeemed.
All right, hold on, let me get there. All right, the Brenton Thomas
Was redeemed, Your Honor.
redeemed.
The next three items, Judge, he needs that 4.6 continuance for that December 5th date.
Okay, reset to December 5, 2013 at 11.
Next item, Judge, no objection to deed.
Okay. The UTT services.
Correct. Next item, Michelle Barnes. He needs that 4.6 continuance again, Judge. That'll be the 12/5/2013 date.
Okay, Michelle Barnes, Tommy Parker, 12/5/13 at 11.
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay.
The next one was the duplicate file. The next item, James Crosley.
Yes.
That's an extension, 120-day extension to February 1.
Okay. Extend redemption to 2/1/14.
And the next four are just needs to stand. The two link. I know, but he isn't. The others, Judge, there's,
They just said it.
okay, those were set for hearing inaccurately, Judge. We just need you could maybe set those for a status date of
12/5/13 and 11.
That's fine, Judge.
I can read it.
Page 56, Judge, she's here for Attorney Hatcher.
Attorney Hatcher.
She's asking for a continuance, apparently, Judge. I don't know what they were sent for today. It was already on extensions. No objection to a continuance, Judge.
12/5/13 and 11.
12/5 is fine, Judge. I believe that's all, Judge. Next.
Okay. Very good. Attorney Tweedle.
Starting on page 19, Judge.
Morning, Judge. Good morning.
I've got pages 19 and 20.
No objection to deed on any on page 19, Judge.
Well, on page 19, there is one objection. Someone appeared. That's the second to the bottom, which is Guadalupe Alvarez versus Arthur and Lupe Elizondo. They're objecting. We're requesting that be set for the November 4th date. They're all 11 o'clock, correct?
Well, I'm on 11. I'm getting ready to go to the afternoon.
Well, you want to start it out? So what time would that be?
1:30.
1:30? Okay, so you'll need to come back here November 4th at 1:30 unless we're able to discuss the matter before.
What's your name, ma'am?
Lupe?
You're Lupe Elizondo?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that
Okay, the top three items then are granted. Last item on page 19 is granted.
Correct, Your Honor.
Page 20.
Yes, all those are petitions for deed.
No objection on page 20, Judge.
We'll show those granted.
I had a typo which might have been corrected in the final version. The fourth one down, U.S. Bank and Alex and Sandra Garza. The last three numbers should be 024.
Okay, it's corrected on
It's
there.
already corrected. And then on page 61, there's a petition for refund less than 25% penalty.
Any objection to that?
No objection, Judge.
The only issue with that was I don't know if they corrected it on the final version, but they have the purchaser is Wintering LLC.
Yeah.
And that's actually the purchaser is it's a U.S. Bank custodian for TLCF 2012A.
Okay. You have orders on those?
All orders are in the file, and
Even
I dropped off
the last one?
Yes, there's orders for that last one as well, and I dropped off minute sheets in the bucket.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
My list says you also have one in 62, is that not right?
That was the updated list. I looked at that. I don't have one.
All right. Thank you. Attorney Geekus. Page 2. Good morning. The last item on page 2 is redeemed, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. What about the rest of page 2?
The remainder of page 2, no objection to deed, Judge.
My understanding, the first one down, Juanita Ratney, those were redeemed also.
Okay. Juanita Ratney, James Nowacki?
Yes.
Was redeemed.
Those two are redeemed? Okay. We'll show the rest of page 2 granted. Page 3.
No objection to those items, Your Honor.
Show those granted.
I have orders, Your Honor.
Yep, right up here.
In the back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Attorney Neff. Attorney Neff.
He was here earlier, Your Honor. His item on page 56 was actually redeemed. I think he may have left based on that.
I would imagine so. We'll show that redeemed. Attorney Olson.
Page 36, Judge.
All right, page 36.
All 8 are petitions for a tax deed, Your Honor.
No objection, Judge.
We'll show those granted. You filed your orders?
Have them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Attorney Sievertson.
Page 28, Judge.
Okay.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning.
All items on page 28, Judge, no objection to deed.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Lewis is here for the item 4 from the bottom and is interposing an objection. I do have a minute sheet setting it for 11-4 at 1:30.
Very good. That's the Belford Wilkerson?
That's the one, Judge.
Okay. Attorney Lewis, you're appearing on behalf of Mr. Wilkerson?
Yes.
Okay. Attorney Robert Lewis appears and lodges an objection, which we will set for status on November 4th, 2013 at 1:30.
1:30.
November 4th at 1:30.
And we'll show the remainder of page 28 granted.
Yes.
Have you tendered your orders?
I did when I filed the petition, Your Honor.
Very good. Page 56.
Yes.
No objection to deed on those 4 items, Your Honor.
Show those granted. Page 57.
No objection to deed on that one, Your Honor.
Show that granted. And page 62.
Yes, Your Honor. Sergio Gutierrez, no objection to deed on that one either.
We'll show that granted. All right, anything else?
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Flip to the burden.
Scott, I can't read your writing. Scott, somebody. Well, let's see, it says page 32. Say again? Yeah, Fandre?
Who is it?
Yeah, well, you know what, if it's Fandre, there's an objection on that one that's already been reset.
Okay.
Another one I can't read. Daniel Williams?
Nope. Or is it?
Oh, yeah, these...
Dave Westland?
I think it is, you know.
I got a DW, that's all I have to do.
Daniel Williams, that's very close.
May Hodges? Gonna take her on that one?
No.
I mean, I think these are self-representeds. Kevin Smith. You are a winner.
Page 1, Your Honor.
Page 1. That I can read.
No objection to deeds on any of the items on page 1 for Mr. Smith, Your Honor.
We'll show Mr. Smith's deeds are granted.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Did you tender orders?
I did, but I also have the minute sheets for you as well.
Fantastic. Attorney Decker.
Page 12, Judge.
Good morning.
The first one was the objection we already set for November 4th, Your Honor, at the bottom of page 12 with Mr. Golding.
Okay.
Next page is page 30 for Mr. Decker.
There's 2.
2 at the top of the page, Judge. No objection to deed on either item.
I'm sorry, what page again?
Page 30.
30. We'll show those granted.
That's it. Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, I forgot I had one objection.
Sure, okay.
Yes, Judge. It is on page 18. It's one of Mr. Kowalski's, along with here with Attorney Svednoff for it. It's CJS versus Nicolette. Coleman Tolbert.
Oh, I see it.
Just about the top 30, Judge.
Yep.
Set to that November 4th date, Judge.
Yeah, November 4th at 1:30.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
1:30. Thank you.
Which I was...
And who did you appear for?
Mr. Svednoff.
Which,
That's,
Which owner?
Nicolette Tolbert.
Tolbert, okay.
Tolbert, yes.
All right.
Tolbert.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, I had one person who caught me in the hall,
Okay.
had basically is filing an objection.
Say it again?
Page 36, Judge.
Page 36 is the one, Brian Brown versus Floyd Cobbins.
Floyd, yeah, what about it?
Objection.
Okay, who is this? Who are you, sir?
Del Mario Cobbins?
Del Mario Cobbins?
Yeah.
All right.
November 4th at 1:30, Your Honor?
Yes.
Okay.
November 4th, 1:30. Attorney Emerson?
Your Honor.
Good morning. Page 35.
Yes, 35 and 56.
Page 35, Judge. First 3 items, no objection to deed. The last item was redeemed.
Which one was that?
Trustees of Indiana University.
The 22-306-12?
306-12, yes, Your Honor. No. You sure did that?
The other 3 are granted?
Page 35.
Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Show those granted. Page 56.
There are also petitions for tax deed.
No
Valerie Gomez?
That's correct, Your Honor. No objection to deeds on
We'll
those.
show those granted.
It's actually Broadnax with an X, does.
Broadnax, okay. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Attorney Lonkar? Was he already taken care of, probably? Attorney Brooks? Good to see you. How are you?
Page Page 55, Your Honor. No objection to deed for either item for Mr. Brooks.
50, which page?
Page 55.
Okay, we'll show those granted. Always good to see you.
Good seeing you. I have no orders, but no minutes.
Okay, sure. Things good? Attorney Cox, have we already taken care of him probably?
Page 12.
Yeah, it was.
Let's see. Colette Luchetta Stembel.
These are two matters at the bottom of page 10. I apologize for not bringing up earlier, Your Honor. I was here on other matters, and I was researching these because I didn't get notice on them and found out they were here. So I just found out they were here when I went across the way.
Okay, which ones?
They are 524 LLC, bottom of page 10.
Both of the first
4519 22326 001 00038. And
The last two items on page 10?
Both the First Bank of Whiting?
Yes,
Okay.
First Bank of Whiting, sorry.
Both of the First Bank of Whitings are objections then?
Yes.
Okay.
You can contact Attorney Brock on those.
Okay, and we're going to set those for November 4th at 11.
November 4th at 11, got it.
Is it STENDEL?
Yes, sir. And I'm working with Attorney Craig on the other ones. I'm going to see if she'll work on these too.
Okay, anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Attorney Craig's all here, but they've already been. Attorney Repsich.
Afternoon, Judge.
Page 55, Judge.
Judge, I still needed to petition and do the 4.6 notice. I was looking for the January 10th date.
Actually, we can give them that December 5th. Judge.
That would work too.
December 5th?
12/5/13 at 11.
I have a minute sheet here for the bailiff, of course, with that.
On the desk, yeah.
All right.
I can't read the next one. It's Dave Williams. Oh, Attorney Westland.
Call me whatever you want.
Page 29.
Judge, she needs that 4.6 continuance.
Not on this one.
Not on this one?
This is not the one.
Robert Helmer?
Robert Helmer. This one's fine.
This is what I said. That's right, Your Honor. No objection to deed.
Okay, we'll show that one granted.
I have another one, Judge, that didn't make your call, that was sent in, that I talked to Mr. Wiley about.
I think it's on the add-on page, Judge. It's page 62.
62, okay.
That's it.
Maria Bernstein.
What date are you getting?
That'll be the 12/5/2013, Your Honor.
What page?
Page 62, add-ons.
I don't see it.
Fourth from the top.
Oh, I see it. Okay, yeah, got it.
Dave Williams.
12/5.
12/5/11. For a 4.6 notice, Judge.
Okay. Anything else, Attorney Wilson?
No, that's it, Judge.
Very good. Attorney Jones.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. I'm okay. How are you?
Doing okay, man?
Page 27?
Yeah, 27. I think we have
4 of them?
4.
First one shows
Mulligan's redeemed.
First item is redeemed, Your Honor.
Okay.
And
how about the last
we
one?
want to extend redemption on Muhammad.
What about King?
And are we extending redemption on King or setting it for a hearing? Or setting it for a hearing? Extend redemption.
I had him down, Judge, for taking the 25% reduction on a
We're
refund.
going to extend redemption.
We have an objection to extension redemptions, Judge, on these. These have been extended on how many times? It's already been extended once, Judge.
Then we're going to schedule for a hearing.
11/4/13 at 1:30. That's on all three, or that's on?
That's on King and
Muhammad.
And Muhammad?
No, Muhammad. We're just going to be sending notice on that and reschedule hearing.
Muhammad is a 4.6, Judge.
December 5th?
December 5th for that one, Judge.
Oh. What time?
11. And then the Shakuri Gilcon, 11/4/13 at 1:30.
11/4?
Yep.
At 1:30.
At 1:30.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Okay. This one takes the cake on handwriting. Haddad, maybe?
That's what the doctor, or I'm sorry, yell at me for my handwriting. On page 30.
You're on page 30, middle of the page. No objection to deed on any of those. However, the buyer's name should be Mohammed.
I've corrected it.
Okay.
Okay. We'll show those granted.
And that's submitted, minute
Those
orders.
submitted to orders. Okay, very good. Thank you. Attorney Dawkins?
Good morning.
Good morning. Page 61. I got these under petition for refund.
Yes.
Attorney Wiley?
I'm sorry.
I didn't see it.
Yes, agreed minus 25% refund, Judge.
Do you have a form order?
Yes, I do.
We'll show that granted. You're most certainly welcome. All right. My attorney list is now exhausted, but I know there are attorneys here, so first one to the podium.
Mr. Meyer.
Morning, Judge.
No.
Good morning. Jim Meyer. Actually, I'm appearing on page 42 for Pat M. Lee Trust.
Okay, page 42 to the Meyer.
Near at the top for both for deeds, and we reviewed them, and I don't believe the county has any objection.
All right, let me find
Correct, Your Honor. No objection to deed on those two items for Patrick M. Lee.
Okay. So, Attorney Meyer, you're appearing on behalf of them.
Yes.
We'll show those granted. Anything else?
No.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Attorney Glatchkoff.
Attorney Drake is here to object to one of mine on page 18.
Yeah, I would.
Good morning, Attorney Drake. How are you? Which one is it?
10th one from the top, CGS Reynolds versus Harriet Marguerite.
Howard. Okay.
Page 18.
Page 18. CJS Reynolds, Harriet Marguerite Howard. 11/4/13 at 1:30. Very good. You're welcome. And Attorney Drake, you're appearing for Ms. Howard?
For Paul Howard.
For Paul Howard,
I have a
okay.
copy, I don't know if the court's ready to show the appearance.
I don't show it on my list, but it may be in the file.
If you like, Judge, I believe this is...
Sure.
Another person to object as well, Your Honor.
Who's the buyer? CJS versus, they've got the objection.
Ma'am, what's your name?
Nicolette Talbert.
Nicolette Tolbert?
Yes.
Page 18, Judge, about a quarter of the way down, we already have it for an objection. Attorney Svetnoff and Attorney Smith filed an
Right.
objection. So they'll be here November 4th. Are they representing you? It's set for objection hearing.
Is that at 1:30?
Yes, November 4th.
November 4th at 1:30.
Okay.
Okay? Sir, your name?
My name is Daniel Walsh.
Daniel Walsh. That's a couple up right above those.
Right.
2 items, sir?
Two partials.
Yes.
2 partials.
Are you objecting?
Yes.
Daniel Walsh appears and objects. November 4, 2013 at 1:30.
Yes, I would. I would like it. You're a client. They don't know what to do. They're like frozen. I get something from you saying to continue or something. Yeah, I have 2 other ones with different attorneys. Can I ask if these attorneys have been up yet?
I'm quite certain they probably have. What are they?
Just Michael DeSitis hasn't been on the agenda for today. Page 15, Attorney Golding, Judge. Your name on there? Daniel Walsh. It's also a Daniel Walsh, Judge. 5th from the bottom on page 15.
Okay, I see that.
You're objecting on that one, sir? Did you buy this in text before? Did you buy it before? November 4th at what time, Judge? 10 a.m.?
Yeah, because that's Attorney Golding's.
Yes.
November 4th at 10 a.m. on that one. All right, page 17.
No.
I'm going to point out a couple for you first, Your Honor.
You'll get a trial date. You'll get a trial date.
On page 17, are we doing something else?
Yeah, on page 17. The 10th one down is shown as redeemed.
Bellamy Group?
Yes, and I actually checked, and I believe the office is checking that it has not been redeemed.
Bellamy Group?
That wasn't the one that was redeemed. This is the one that was redeemed.
Oh, Soto.
256.
Soto Corral.
Not 156.
Okay.
256. This one was not.
Which one was 456?
One was 456.
That's 4.
Oh. That's why I keep on saying no. It's on my.
He's correct, Your Honor. That one was not redeemed. The Bellamy versus 420 Hoffman LLC. We have no objection to deed on that.
Show that granted.
The one right below, Your Honor.
Yes.
Bellamy Group versus William McCoy. We received notice of bankruptcy from them, or we found it in our search. We're asking for a petition. We're petitioning to extend redemption, give us a chance to move for relief from staying in that bankruptcy. So the petition's been filed. We ask the court to sign an order extending our redemption period 120 days, extending his redemption period 120 days from today's date. Give us an opportunity then to file a petition for relief from stay in this bankruptcy.
I'm not sure I can enter any orders since there's a bankruptcy stay in place, and I mean, he may object to the extension. I mean,
I think the motion has to be to the bankruptcy court to lift the stay first.
I think so too.
So then the only option we have is to put this on.
Just stay it.
Stay.
Stay it.
All right.
Yeah.
Which
McCoy.
Okay, we'll show that stayed on the minutes due to bankruptcy.
And then 2 down from that, Bellamy Group, which is the last one on page 17, Alexander Smith.
Yeah.
We show that he was also in bankruptcy. We were asking for a refund since the bankruptcy was filed before the sale. The one from McCoy was filed after the sale. This one was filed before the sale. So we're asking for a refund with this, without the penalty and with the, I'm not sure we get interest anymore, but...
Attorney Wiley?
No objection to refund of the full purchase price.
Okay. We'll show that refund full.
The rest on page 17, I think, are proper, Your Honor.
All right, so let's go back. We got the Broward Town of Chicago, Jeffrey Youngheim, and then White Hawk 2, and then Northern First Baptist Church.
Yes, Your Honor.
Right. No objection indeed on any of those, Judge.
Show those granted. Bellamy Group, Linda Carrillo.
No objection, Judge.
Granted. Last 2 items, page 17.
No objection to deeds on those, Judge.
Show those granted.
Well, wait a minute. The bottom I have on page 17 is Bellamy Group versus Alexander Smith. Is that?
No, it's different on ours.
Yeah.
Harriet Porter.
Harriet Porter? Okay, yes, all right.
All right, then page 18, top 2 items.
No objection to deed, Judge.
Show those granted. Next 2 we've got objections to. Then we've got CJS Reynolds, Benjamin, and Mamie Woodson.
Correct, Your Honor. No objection to deed.
Show that granted. Then we got an objection on Tolbert. Then we have Sandra Shoemaker.
No objection to deed, Judge.
Show that granted. We have an objection from Attorney Drake, and then the rest of the page.
The rest of the page, no objection to deeds, Judge.
Show those granted. Page 19.
No objection to deed on any on 19, Judge.
Show those granted.
Page 54, Judge.
Okay.
These are for deed as well, Your Honor, yes.
No objection to deed on those, Judge.
Show those granted.
Did you see, Doug, on page 54, they listed those as yours?
I've got my name.
They were told.
Yeah, I've got those. This is on this. So it must have been a okay. Final one. Okay, just a second.
Page 58. These are to extend redemption period.
That's correct, Your Honor. 58, 59 to extend redemption.
Any objection?
No objection to one extension, Judge.
Extend redemption period to 2/1/14. Page 62.
Those are add-ons.
No objection to deed on those 3, Judge.
Show those granted.
That's it. Thank you.
Any other attorneys here? All right.
Judge, several of the self-represented we have checked.
That's what I wanted to move on to that then.
Page 29, Attorney Brad Keogh. She filed too early for the deed. She had to wait. She filed her petitions too early, so that might be she's not here. Is that right?
No, they don't have.
Okay, so she's status. Those actually just need to be continued generally, Judge. They misfiled some documents that shouldn't have been set for hearing yet.
Okay.
Just the 2?
All 3.
Well, the one says it's a canceled sale on my list.
Right, yeah, one is canceled sale.
And the other 2 are continued generally?
Continued generally.
The other one I could just scratch off the list?
Yes.
Okay. We'll get to those. Self-represented, who, do you have any names that you met with?
Yes, Your Honor. We can start with Margaret Credlow.
Okay.
Page 36.
I don't see her.
Okay. She's not here yet, Your Honor?
Well, I saw her before. She's probably out in the hallway. Michael, would you see if Ms. Credlow is in the hallway? Who? Credlow. K-R-E-D-L-O. What page?
Page 36, Judge.
All right.
First two items, Judge, no objection to deed.
We'll show those granted.
Next item, LC Trust versus Stanford Brown and Takechi, that was redeemed.
Redeemed.
Remainder of page 36, no objection to deed, Judge.
The second to last item, I note there's an objection.
Okay.
Sharon Fuller Davis.
Yes.
Okay.
That's Rosalind Parr?
Yes.
Yes.
November 4th at 1:30. November 4th, 2013 at 1:30.
Okay.
The other two are granted. And then the last item, granted also?
No objection, that's correct, Judge.
Okay.
Page 37, Judge, everything except the third item, Diane, there was an objection by Attorney Tokarski.
Okay, hold on. The first one, Sandra Britton.
No objection.
We'll show that granted. The next two I have marked as objections. Adonia Community Services, Inc. On my list, I showed there's an objection filed.
I didn't have it, Judge, but that's fine.
We'll set those as November 4th, 2013 at 1:30.
All right.
The remainder of page 37, no objection, Judge.
Show those granted.
Also, all of page 38, Judge, no objection to deed.
I've got two objections on my list. One is the City Equities LLC, the 247th one down.
Okay.
And then the Adonia Community Services, that may be a duplicate. No,
that is a different property.
Okay.
Here on the one with City Equities, we've come to an agreement. I'd like to submit a revised court order. He wants to redeem it immediately.
Okay.
Should we keep it for status on that 11-4 date?
Well, I'll just show that agreement has been reached, and you'll file it within 14 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Submit. 14 days. The other objection is 11-4-13 at 1:30. Remainder of the page, any objection to?
No objection, Judge.
We'll show those granted.
Going on to page 39, Judge?
Yes, 39.
No objection to any on page 39 from Ms. Credlow.
Show those granted. Anything else?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right. Another self-represented you've met with?
Yeah, should we go page by page, Judge? Or do you want to do it?
That's fine. We can do that. That way at least there's some semblance.
Page 39, Judge, be the Save the Dunes Conservation Fund.
Save the Dunes?
First three items for Save the Dunes, Judge, were redeemed.
I see that. What's your name?
Kathy Martin.
Kathy Martin, okay. Next two items.
Next two items, Judge, they need the 4.6 continuance to that 12/5/2013 date.
Okay, we'll reset to December 5th, 2013 at 11. You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
Sure.
Lamont LeBroy.
Lamont LeBroy.
Bottom of page 39, Judge.
What's your name?
Dietra LeBroy.
Say it again.
Dietra LeBroy.
Can you spell that?
Dietra.
First item, Judge, on the bottom of page 39, that's an extension of redemption period.
Did David gets one?
Yes, Your Honor.
Extend redemption to February 1st?
That's correct, Judge.
Do you have an order? Do you have a form order to that effect, ma'am?
No.
Right, so we can just do it on the minutes. Is that the order we have?
No,
page 44, Judge. Middle of the page, all those Lamont LeBroys, looks like 6 items. Those are also extensions of redemption period.
Okay. Anything else?
I think that's all, Judge.
All right.
Going on to page 40, Linda Fuller.
Linda?
Landa Fuller.
Landa Fuller? Landa Fuller?
May have left, Judge. That's a 4.6 extension to December 5th.
Reset to 12/5/2013 at 11.
Next item, Daniel Williamson, Judge.
Daniel Williamson?
I guess also he's left. He has the extension of redemption, Judge, to February 1st.
Extend redemption to 2/1/14.
Same on the next item, May Hodges.
May Hodges?
Extension.
Extend redemption 2/1/14.
Next item, Gideon, Your Honor, also.
Gideon Awasu? Extend redemption?
Actually, no, it's no extension. It's a no refund order.
Denied?
Denied.
Denied, no refund. You're going to submit that order?
I will, Judge.
14 days?
7 days.
All right. Okay.
Next one available is Corrine Haywood.
Corrine Haywood?
Your Honor, that's also a 4.6 extension to December 5.
Are you Ms. Haywood?
I'm fine, Your Honor.
I'm fine.
Good.
Are you Ms. Haywood?
I am.
She needs that 4.6 continuance, Judge, to the
December 5, 2013 at 11?
11 a.m. That's correct, Your Honor.
What's the date?
December 5.
Okay. What time?
11 a.m.?
11 a.m.
All right. That's me? I'm through?
Yep.
All right. I see you.
Granville Dickerson.
Granville Dickerson.
That's the 120-day extension, Your Honor.
So Mr. Dickerson appears. Extend redemption period to 2/1/14?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
2/1/14?
Yes.
Okay. What time?
That's your new,
The people can redeem up until that date then.
Oh,
So you've got 90 days from today to get your 4.5 out.
okay.
Okay?
All right. Thank you.
Tiffany Rich, Judge.
Tiffany Rich.
No objection to deed on Tiffany Rich, Your Honor.
Are you Tiffany Rich?
Yes.
We'll show that granted. Have you tendered an order? Do you have a form order?
Yes.
You do look unsure, yes or no?
Is it in the file, or?
Did you file an order?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Are you guessing, or are you...
No, I'm not guessing. My person that did all my paperwork right there, so I'm just looking to make sure.
Okay, all right. We'll show it granted.
Okay.
Samantha Webb, Judge.
Samantha Webb.
No objection to deed for Samantha.
Are you Samantha?
Yes.
Have you submitted a form order?
Yes.
All right, we'll show it granted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Prosper Real Estate, Judge.
Prosper Real Estate.
Nobody? We have no objection to deed on that one, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Liz, you're Prosper Real Estate? We'll show that granted. Have you submitted an order?
Yes.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Next item, Lafayette. Well, Ms. Lidge has a couple others, don't you? Page 42, Judge.
All right, page 42. Under Mary Lidge.
Mary Lidge. RSK Enterprises. The ones that are RSK Enterprises at the bottom of the page, Judge?
Yes.
No objection to deed on either one.
We'll show those granted. What about Mary Lidge?
Also, no objection to deed, Judge, on either one.
On Mary's? Mary?
Correct. Oh,
okay.
what? Yeah.
So, Mary's here?
Yeah, no objection to deed on either one. We just need to check an assignment on the second item, Judge, but we'll do that.
All right, we'll show those granted.
Yep.
Okay. Very good, thank you.
Going back to page 40, Judge.
Yes.
Lafayette Caldwell.
Lafayette Caldwell. Are you Mr. Caldwell? All right.
No objection to deed, Judge, Mr. Caldwell.
Have you submitted an order?
Yes.
Okay, we'll show that granted.
Bottom of that page 40, Judge, LaJuan Clemens.
LaJuan Clemens? I don't see anybody.
That's a 120 extension, Judge.
Extend redemption to 2/1/14.
Going to page 41, Judge.
Are you Mr. Clemens?
Yes.
Oh, okay. The request of the auditor's office was to extend the redemption period to February 1st, 2014, and we'll do that.
On one of my properties, she didn't look at my second one.
Okay, which one's that?
Let's leave it on there. It's not even on the call, Judge. I don't think it's right for a call.
Okay. They said it's not on the call today. You may want to just stick around and talk to Gina afterwards and see what the... Okay.
Going on to page 41, Judge.
Yes.
Top of the page, LPD Properties Trust.
LPD's Property Trust. Your name?
Michael Dye.
Michael?
Dye.
D-Y-E?
Correct.
No objection to any of the deeds for those, Your Honor.
We'll show those granted. Have you filed form orders?
Yes.
Okay.
Very good.
Very good, thank you.
Next item is Judge Cynthia Minor.
Cynthia Minor? Cynthia Minor.
Might not have showed, Judge. Those are also extension 120s.
Extend redemption to February 1st, 2014.
Next item is Margarita Wilson.
Margarita Wilson. Are you Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Also
extension of 120, Judge, to the February date.
Okay. Extend redemption to February 1st, 2014.
Next is Graves Scott.
Graves Scott? You're Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir.
All righty.
Also extension of 120, Judge, the February date.
Extend redemption to February 1st, 2014.
Yes, Your Honor, but the mistake was the publication, not my fault.
The publications had the incorrect dates on it, Judge. As a result, the notices are improper.
Okay. Well, you'll have to redo it. Talk to Gene about it.
Sir, you want to call on another page?
You on another page?
41 and 44?
41.
What other page?
Oh, on page 44 as well, Judge. He has two more at the top of the page.
Oh, I see them.
Those are also extensions, 4.6.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, this one's a 120-day extension, Judge, February date again.
Okay, extend redemption to February 1st.
Excuse me.
Hold on, Your Honor. This is 4.6 extensions to 12/5.
Oh, reset to December 5th, 2013 at 11.
Thank you.
Please. We'll be here all day.
Okay.
One thing I'll show you. I got I wanted 120 days on these extensions.
They're not on your docket.
They're not?
You don't have a petition. You won't be good.
Okay.
Okay. Going back to page 42, Judge.
Okay.
Oh, actually, those were all the Mary Beach. Those are all done. Oh, I'm sorry, Tanya Robinson.
Tanya Robinson. You Ms. Robinson?
No objection to deeds on those two, Your Honor.
Show those granted. Have you submitted a form order? Okay, very good, thank you.
Page 43, Judge. Henry Terrell.
Henry Terrell? Henry Terrell.
Those are also extension 120s, Judge.
Extend redemption period 2/1/14.
Correct, Your Honor. No. On page 43, continuing on, Judge, the Brennan Nash.
Yes. Brennan Nash?
I think those are... Attorney...
You Mr. Nash? Yes. Okay. The first item, is that shows redeemed, is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Second one shows an objection.
Right, by Attorney Svetnov.
Okay.
So that should be November 4th.
November 4th, 2013 at 1:30 on that one.
I think I have objection to the rest of this, right?
And what about the rest of Mr. Nash's items?
The rest of those are extension 120s, Judge.
Okay. Extend redemption period is granted to February 1st, 2014.
Okay, thanks.
Yep.
Bottom of page 43, Your Honor, Michael Lemon.
Michael Lemon? You Mr. Lemon? I'm sorry?
Michael Lemon.
Michael.
Yes.
Your Honor, the first item at the bottom of page 43.
Same spelling or?
Different spelling.
Okay, you're Michael.
Yes.
M-I-C-H-A-E-L. Michael Lemon appears.
First item, Judge, is they need the 4.6 continuance to the 12/5 date.
Okay, we set that to December 5th, 2013 at 11.
Next item against Alan Crosby is the 120, extension 120.
Extend redemption to February 1st, 2014. First item on page 44.
He didn't want it anymore. He's the one. That's a denied, no refund, Judge. Sure. Eddie Jackson, Judge, is the next item.
And on that other one, you'll prepare that order and file it within 7 days? Yes?
I will, Judge. Who's the objector?
Eddie Jackson.
It's an extension 120 for all three items, Judge.
Is she here on Jackson?
No, she's
okay.
an objector on another one, Judge.
We'll show those three items, extend redemption to 2/1/14.
Bottom of page 44, Raymond Luna.
Raymond Luna. Mr. Luna appears.
Those are also extensions, Judge, but I believe it's extension 365 because these were treasurer sales. You bought these at treasurer sales.
That's correct. Treasurer sale, that's all right.
Right. He needs the extension 365 is what we mark it down as, so that's a one-year redemption.
Okay.
It would be October 4, 2014.
Extend redemption to 10/4/14.
Correct, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Carlotta Taylor, Judge.
Carlotta Taylor.
Page 45.
Ms. Taylor? Are you Ms. Taylor? Okay.
These are extension 120s, Judge.
John, I would like to say something.
Go ahead.
I had prepared something to say. I wanted to give you a copy so you can read it as well as I'm saying it. I wanted to ask you the reasons that I am, I just started off. Your Honor, I asked you to talk, I'm coming to you before you to address three issues. Number one, the timeliness of my CCS. That's why they're giving me 120 days. Apparently, Your Honor, I should not be penalized for filing my motions early, since they won't come into play until after today's hearing. Whenever you have the time to sign them, due to your caseload, Your Honor, who will benefit by denying me the deed today? I am responsible for the taxes upon bidding. If it isn't redeemed, am I to pay a whole year worth of taxes for property I have no liberty to? Your Honor, if the owner of the record contested these proceedings, those motions would be mute. They would be worth nothing. The owner of the record is not paying taxes on those properties. The motions have nothing to do with my publications or notifications. The public notifications and my certified notifications were completely accurate.
What's the objection?
What she had done, apparently, Judge, is she filed her petitions for deed well before the redemption period expired. If you read her petition for deed, just like everybody else's, it says the redemption period has expired. So when the people get that notice, they think it's already over. That's why it's an objection. That's why the notice is...
No, Your Honor, in big red letters, it says there is a hearing on October the 4th at 9:30. No matter, they're talking about the little stamp that's on there from the county.
All right, well, this is the same as any other case where there's a dispute as to whether the deed would be issued. So I'm going to set this for a status conference because I got a courtroom full of people. I can't hear a full-blown hearing today on whether or not I can grant the deed.
Okay, wait a minute. One more thing. I can understand it if I filed my motion late.
We're not going to address...
Okay.
No, we're not going to address the merits. I can't do that. I got a courtroom full of people.
Yes, sir. Okay.
We'd be here all day. Just like anybody else that if there's a dispute, then we set it for a hearing or at least a status conference at a later date.
Yes, sir.
So, because otherwise, I'd be here for a month.
That's right.
So I'm going to reset it to November 4th at 1:30.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Antoine Tony?
Your Honor, both items from Mr. Tony are no objection to deed.
We'll show those granted. Have you submitted form orders?
No, I have them with me now.
Right up on the table.
Next, M. Dell Griffith, Your Honor.
M. Dell Griffith?
All the items from Ms. Griffith.
Are you Ms. Griffith?
Yes.
Okay.
Extension 120, Judge, for these new notices.
All right. Extend redemption to February 1st, 2014?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes?
That's correct, Your Honor. Whitney Little?
Does she know what she needs to do?
No.
Would you tell her?
Okay.
I told her the other day.
Gina can talk to her about it. Whitney Little.
Whitney Little. Whitney Little appears on both matters.
Both of Whitney Little's, Your Honor, needs the 4.6 continuance to the 12/5 date.
Reset to December 5th, 2013 at 11. Yes?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Page 46, Judge. Elijah Pajoski.
Ilya Pajoski?
If he's going to appear, Your Honor. Those are also extension 120s for all of them on page 146.
Stand redemption to 2/1/14. Page 47.
Same for that.
There's one objection. We'll set that for 11/4/13 at 1:30. That's the very last one.
James Foster.
Yes.
Oh, that's a canceled sale, Judge.
Oh, that is? Canceled?
Yes, Your Honor. Bernard Cody, Your Honor.
Bernard Cody?
Those are also extension 120s, Judge, all four items.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Yes.
For one of mine, I had made a mistake on a typo, and I assumed that all the rest of them was going to be incorrect. But I went home and looked them over. They're actually accurate. I want to know if they can check them over right now.
Sure. I mean, just have a seat and they'll...
I just showed you now. He's up there.
No, we're not doing anything yet.
Next, Judge. Jack Mitchell, page 4, starting at the bottom of page 48.
Jack Mitchell.
First two items are objections, Judge.
Yeah, the first one, there's an agreement has been reached, and Attorney Craig was to submit that order within 14 days. The second one, there's an objection.
I have it marked as an objection by the court.
I do. 11/4/13 at 1:30.
On that one, that was due to a bankruptcy, and so we're...
there's a bankruptcy?
That's what the man says who is objecting that one, so we're just willing to give it back if we could request a refund. I think it was a $300 property.
Any objection to a refund?
No objection.
Attorney Wiley? Okay, so full refund?
Full refund, Judge.
Who's going to prepare that order?
Jack Mitchell will.
Okay. Mitchell, you'll prepare a form order to that effect?
When is that?
File it within 14 days?
Okay.
Next two items, bottom of page 48, no objection to these, Judge.
Have you filed form orders on that?
I have all of them right
Okay,
here.
then when we're done with your...
Okay.
Show those granted.
Page 49, Judge.
Page 49.
First two items at the top, no objection to deed.
Show those granted.
The next one is a extension 120, Judge.
Frederick and Judith Walter.
Correct.
Extend redemption to 2/1/14.
Also, the next item as well is extension Prince
and Gloria Solomon.
Extension 120.
Okay.
The next four items are no objection to deed.
So Bernice Sutton through Ella Mosley.
Correct.
Show those granted.
Eric Gonzalez, next item is an extension 120.
Extend redemption to 2/1/14.
Next three items up through LC Trust 5619, that's no objection to deed.
Show those granted.
Next item, Bryce Peters Financial is an extension 120.
Both of them or just the first one?
Just the first one.
Okay. Extend redemption to 2/1/14.
The rest of page 49, no objection to deed.
Show the rest of page 49 granted.
Page 50, first item is extension 120.
Okay, extend redemption to 2/1/14.
Next item is no objection to deed.
Show that granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next item is no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item was redeemed.
So noted.
Next item, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item, NTA property management was redeemed.
So noted.
Next three items, no objection to deed. For Vincent Pryor.
Granted.
Next is extension 120 for Shirley
Then
Keller.
to 2/1/14.
I'm sorry, the extensions run down all the way through the next, up to Janice and Carlton Staples. The next 5 or 6.
Okay. Extend to 2/1/14.
Next item is a denial of deed, no refund.
Jack Mitchell, Jane Gray.
Gray. I'll prepare that order.
He wants to take issue with that.
Or what does that mean? I'm not sure what that... Oh, that was one of the ones that, because I know when we met, we talked about not going forward, but on these particular ones, we've decided to do a 120-day extension, if that's one of the ones.
When we go to extension 120 on that item, then, Judge.
Okay.
Jane Gray. Next
Okay.
item, Sterling and Delano White, no objection to deed.
Show that granted.
Next two, on the bottom of page 50, extension 120.
Extension to 2/1/14.
Page 51.
Yes.
First item, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next two items, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next item is no objection to deed for Alejandro Lenori.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next item is no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is also, the next two items, also no, extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14 for those two entries. Next one's redeemed.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Noted.
Next three items, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next two items, extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next item is no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Last two items on page 51, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Page 52. First item, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Second item, extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next item is no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item was redeemed.
You got Odebor?
Odebor.
Okay. Noted.
Next item is no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next four items up to Henry and Johnson, Vanessa Thomas, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next item was redeemed.
Noted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Next three items, no objection to deed.
Do Vicky Malone?
Correct, Your Honor.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Also, same as the next item is also extension 120.
Extend to 2/1/14.
Second from the bottom, no objection to deed for A&R development.
Granted.
Last item is extension 120 for John Houston.
Extend to 2/114. Page 53.
Page 53, the John and Sharon Woodard Allen, the no objection to deed.
I'm sorry, what about Marvinette Carter?
Extension 120, Judge.
2/114.
Next item is the deed, no objection.
Granted.
Next one is extension 120.
Latrice Bess.
Correct.
Extend to 2/114.
Next item is no objection to deed for Enterprise Properties.
Granted.
The next 6 items are extension 120s down to REO Holdings, LLC.
Extend to 2/114 for those items.
Next item, Eric Talbot, no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/114.
Next 2 items are no objection to deed.
Granted.
Next item is extension 120.
Extend to 2/114.
Next item was redeemed.
Noted.
Last 3 items on page 53, extension 120.
Extend to 2/114.
On to page 54, first item is no objection to deed.
Page 54, granted.
Second item is a 120 extension.
Extend to 2/114.
Next 3 items, down to Benjamin Funding Corp., no objection to deed.
Next 3?
Next 3, down to Benjamin Funding Corp., no objection to deed.
Granted.
Last item is extension 120, Judge.
Extend to 2/114. Is that all, Mr. Mitchells?
I believe so, Judge, unless there was a add-on.
I did have just one question. There was some that we talked to Gina about that they were, maybe this is just a question for Gina, but the ones that were filed in my name, do I need to file an extension for those 5?
Any that he put no refund on, I did extensions on all of them.
Okay.
120.
I think we probably extended.
On those others? Okay, all right. I think that's it.
I'm noting there was another one from Ms. Credlow on page 56. I don't think we addressed. You have any notes on that?
That's the very bottom of page 56, no objection to deed, Judge.
Show that granted. All right, anybody else that you've met with?
I'm trying to see, Judge. I think that's everyone we had met with, Judge.
Okay. Is there anybody here that is not seeking a deed and is objecting to a deed? Come on forward, sir. Anybody who is objecting to a deed, come up and get in line behind the door there, and we're going to take you up one at a time. No, you come on up. You're first. What's your name?
Stanley Hammond.
Do you know what page you're on?
See it, they never found it.
Never found it. Okay. Stanley, spell your last name.
Ammons.
He has the petitioner as Ricard Ruiz, so that must, I assume that's the buyer. There's nobody on here. Do you know who the attorney was? Or
I have no idea. That's what he said.
What do you have? I didn't know to be here today.
I went to find, somebody told me to put an objection into the tax deed. When I found out.
Judge, he's here today to file an objection to a deed, but the guy hasn't filed a petition for the deed yet.
Okay.
Right, so he wants the sale canceled as a result of lack of notice under the statute. They failed to do any 4.5 notice at all. That calls for a denial of tax deed and no refund. But petition for tax deed has to be filed first.
Well, why doesn't he go down to the clerk's office and file a CCS that asks for the sale to be canceled? Or
I had no idea what was going on, Your Honor. I still don't know what's pretty much.
Well, if there's nothing in writing, we're not going to have a file open. If there's...
He has a file stamp CCS that he filed on October 1st, and it says objection to tax deed. That's all it says. So, I mean, you can make that part of it, and you can
I could set
it for a hearing.
Set it for hearing and then cancel. I mean,
just set it for the big January court call again, if you'd like, Judge. Maybe by then the buyer will be filed their petition, or maybe it's going to be on that court call.
Why don't we set it for December 5th at 11? That way it won't get lost in the shuffle and he won't have to sit here all day.
Okay.
Do we know if there's a fine? I mean, I guess keep that CCS right on there.
I'm just
set for hearing 12/5/13
at 11 a.m.
At 11 a.m. And is the other person's information on there so the clerk can mail them notice?
Yep, it's a Chicago, Illinois address. We just wanted to put that in the self-represented pile then, Judge?
Well, why don't you give that to Michael separately, and that way...
Michael, come here.
Yeah, Michael.
Make a copy of this, give one to him, and put one in the self-represented.
Well, no, give one to him and then keep that and just keep it on your desk, and let's discuss that next week so we make sure we get a file married up with it. Mr. Harper, you're back.
Yeah.
But are you objecting to the sale?
She gave you a extension?
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, you said you were going to redeem them immediately.
No, that was one of them.
You were already up to the podium once.
Yes.
He was.
For another case, but these two haven't been called. It's Megan Craig. She got left.
What page?
I'm looking, Judge, where Ms. Craig was. She started on page 20. You're Robert Harper, right? Yeah. Is it in the name of City Equities and everything?
Okay, what are these about?
I don't know. He contests service notice. He wants to have an objection. He wants to have that hearing date on the...
Who's the buyer?
Yeah, Del, Judge. No, they're attorneys. I don't know. He just lists the law firm name, Judge. He doesn't have the buyer's name listed.
Who's the property owner?
City Equities, he believes, or Robert Harper. Just the same way they go cost, so under Megan Craig. Judge, I looked at all the Craig and Craig items. I don't see it anywhere. I don't see these anywhere. I don't find either key number. Yeah, and I've looked at the key numbers as
Yeah, I don't see them either. I've looked through all of them.
You want to set it for, she's going to be here at November 4th date. Do you want to have them just put these on the self-represented or marry up the file?
Put what on them?
He's got key numbers at least, and so if they, you can set these two key numbers and see if they find them that way. The clerk's office should be able to find it by key number.
Go down to the clerk's office and file a CCS entry form objecting to deeds on those particular parcels, and we'll see what happens.
I did it. He did it this week, October 2nd. So,
what happened with him?
Well, we didn't give him a date yet because we were signing those dates today.
Oh, okay. All right.
You always mark these for him to be here on November 4th?
Yeah, what time was that? 10? What's hers at 10? November 4th at 10. You putting that on the CCS?
Is that where we had Ms. Craig before?
I believe so.
Let's look and see.
November 4th at 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Go back here. November 4th at 10 a.m. She'll be here.
And why don't you give that?
Those are both different. That's not.
I understand that.
That's Armstrong's Family Trust. Those are two different ones.
Again, these are guys that, this hasn't even filed a petition for deed yet. And this one be here at 11/4 at 10 a.m. for Ms. Craig. And you can call Ms. Craig anytime.
Did you keep a copy of that so we know what we did?
No, Mike, can you make copies of these?
And then Mary goes up with the file just like the other one. Don't put it in the stack.
Keep it on your desk, apparently.
Yeah, at least until we get the file up. Is that it? All right, sir, come on forward. What's your name?
Rafael Lizama.
Okay.
Petitioners Cleopatra Louise Young Reeves, Robert Golding. Golding started on page 12 to 17.
Yeah.
I remember the Cleopatra, I thought.
There's, yeah, middle of page 13. What's your name?
Rafael Lizama.
There's two for Cleopatra. One that we already set for objection hearing for Sylvester Hobson. Is that involved?
I don't have never.
What's the key number?
Key number doesn't match up there.
With either one of those two?
No. Oh yeah, 2059. Yeah, it's the one we already set for objection hearing, 11/4/2013.
Do you own the property?
No, I don't have. I never have a property in Gary. There's the second letter is sent, and the first letter my wife called to the.
So you don't have any interest in the property?
I don't have it.
He's listed. He was listed on the notices by Mr. Golding at 609 State Street, Hammond. Is that where you live?
I own this is my address.
Okay.
You might come up in the chain of titles.
I live in this one.
You live in what house? Which house?
609
State Street, Hammond. Okay.
Yes.
Do you have a lien against that property in the other property?
No.
Okay. You have no interest in 247 Taft Street?
No.
Okay. Then you don't need to.
Then you don't need to do anything.
You don't need to do anything.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
Sure. Is anybody else objecting to the issuance of a tax deed? Is there anybody in the hallway? Michael? Okay, what about Mr. Cody? Did you have a chance to talk to him?
Mr. Cody? the other ones are. What's the other side? This one. Page 47, we already started. We'll try and prove that this is good notice. We don't think it's good notice. So you can either have a trial with your case, or you can go to 120 cents and then do it again. Prefer to do. I'm sorry? Judge, these are...
What page are we on?
Page 47, towards the bottom, Bernard Cody. We can get him instead of the extension 120 for these four, we can get him the 11-4 date. We're going to check the notices again.
I'm sorry?
We can give him that 11-4 date, November 4 date.
Okay. You mean you want to give him December 5th?
Oh, yeah, December 5th, Your Honor.
December 5th at 11.
December 5th?
December 5th at 11. All right. Once again, is anybody here objecting to the issuance of a deed? Everybody still here then is seeking a deed. Is that correct? Okay. Has anybody here already met with the auditor's office regarding their petitions? Oh, you have any, Ms. Kreblo, do you have anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. I was going to ask the court for two expedited court orders signed due to kids playing in a vacant building that we are getting the deed on, and speakers in another one that I need to clear out.
Okay, yeah, you'll call my staff on Monday.
Okay.
Okay?
I'll take care of it. Thank you
Sure.
very much, Your Honor.
Apparently we need to check a lot of notices, Judge.
Yeah, no, it's, has it, he's done. Have you checked his?
We did, Your Honor.
Okay, what's your name?
Page 57, Judge. Reverend Emery Williams.
Emery Williams, are you Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Okay.
No objection to deed on those four items, Judge.
Have you submitted an order? Form order?
Did you submit?
Have you submitted an order?
Yes.
A proposed order?
Yes.
Okay, we'll show those granted. Okay, you're good. Has anyone else already met with the auditor's office regarding their petitions? Did you meet with her? Did you?
Had met with her prior, Judge. Recess, I assume.
Yes. All right, we're gonna take a break and give the rest of you an opportunity to meet with Ms. Scheit from the auditor's office to go over. Yes, sir. You already have? All right. Well, come on forward then. What's your name?
Anthony Sanders.
Anthony Sanders.
What page?
I have the same issues as Ms. Taylor. I'd like to come back if I can, November 4th. 1:30.
Notices are improper, Judge, and again, it's he needs a 120-day extension.
What page?
I don't. What's your name, sir? What's your name, sir?
Anthony Sanders.
Is that the name of the buyer on here? Judge, we'll report it after the break.
Let me see if we can find it real quick.
Go ahead and have a seat, sir. She hasn't looked at your notes.
Anthony Sanders, page 45 and 46.
We still haven't looked, we haven't even looked at his yet, Judge.
Oh, you have, so it's not an extension?
No.
Okay. All right, has anybody, have you met with the auditor's office?
Yes, yesterday. If you were here yesterday or Wednesday, 2 days ago. If not, then we haven't met with them.
Did you meet with Ms. Scheit from the auditor's office? Yes, no, or maybe? Okay.
What's your name?
Say it again?
Landa Fuller.
Oh. We saw that before.
Yeah, I remember that name.
I thought that was are you seeking a deed?
Yes.
Okay.
Page 47.
47.
I got it on page 40.
40.
Landa Fuller.
Yes.
We went through those before. You had said you'd met with her, and it was she needed to do the 4.6, and it was reset to December 5th, 2013 at 11.
December 5th. Do the notices. Advice on December 5th date.
Okay, now, did you meet with them, or?
No, I didn't.
Okay. All right, one last time. Has anybody here that's seeking a deed met with the auditor's office prior to today? Okay. So, how many of you here are seeking a deed? Is it everybody, or are there people here watching? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, an hour? You think? Yeah. I mean, do you need time to... You want to go to lunch and come back?
Yes, please.
Yeah, she's going to go to lunch as well.
Okay. We're going to come back at 2. So be back here at 2. You'll get to meet with the auditor's office, and we'll then probably restart court about 2:30, somewhere in there. Okay? Back at 2.
All rise.